Peggy, Norwood, Stella discusses Horse Wisdom, Life Lessons for Humanity. What did you enjoy most about Horse Wisdom, Life Lessons for Humanity from a reader's perspective?
Loved the personal stories that were offered in the book. It brought each and every lesson into a place where we could kind of really relate to it, because the stories were very down to earth and ordinary and very relatable. Um, and I think relatable for those of us who have been around horses, but also for those who have not.
How is Horse Wisdom, Life Lessons for Humanity different from other books?
So many horse books end up being about training. And this one, yours does not. It truly, it speaks to the relationship and the lessons and the where we need to be ourselves, as opposed to getting what we need and getting needs met from the horse. Any training method, regardless of what it is still about training. And the training is to help us get what we need so that we can help them live in a human world. Your book just teaches that we have to appreciate and allow them to live in their horse world, horse wisdom, even though they can't help the fact that we've put them into a human situation. So having that kind of empathy and understanding, and I think it changes not only how we are relating to horses, and of course how we're relating to other human beings and other creatures as well.
What was your biggest takeaway from the book?
My biggest takeaway was how to relate to the animal from their viewpoint, not from my viewpoint. And the ability to be able to look at the world through those eyes, through the eyes of compassion and understanding, as opposed to trying to get my needs met. And the lessons are right there. And with horses, because of their size, the lessons seem a little bigger. And just to be able to tune into that is a gift. So, and I think that your book just extols that gift.
What would you want someone who is considering buying the book to know?
I guess I would ask them, are you ready to look at your animals and relationships with other beings differently? Are you willing to do that? Because this is going to, this book is actually going to call upon you to take a new perspective. And it's not that your book is safe. It's not that your book is completely safe.
Right.
I think there's aspects of your book that do take people into a place where it's a little uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
That needs to happen. But I think you were able to so really kind of gently point it out, without without banging a gong. It, and I think that's why it becomes such a beautiful starting point for discussion. It introduces ideas, it or provokes thought,
Yeah.
without being overly provocative. Do you know what? Right?
Yes. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's very relatable, and it's relatable as we go through our day-to-day lives. When just interacting with someone across the counter from us, or someone who is that a business relationship or a close family relationship, there's always um, that pondering and considering and pausing what really is going on here and what do they need. What are they communicating that they need? And a lot of stuff with human beings, it's like, ooh, sometimes the language and what's being communicated is way different than what the real need is. There's enough wisdom in the book um, that you would, as you're, living your day-to-day life, or for those who are spending a lot of time around horses, they're going to have those moments where they see how it relates. A lot of the lessons in your book, even though it's specifically about horses, I see it just relates so much to our relationships with other creatures as well. Of course, other humans, but I see it all the time. So that when I'm seeing something with kittens, my new kittens, I'm so charmed by it and learning about who they are and what they are, and it relates to your book.
How might readers use Horse Wisdom, Life Lessons for Humanity as a launching pad for deeper discussion and reflection?
The book really opens itself up to being used on a lesson by lesson basis, so that it truly, each lesson can be pulled out on its own. So I can see the value for discussion in book, with book clubs, or in a retreat setting, for example, workshop settings. I see that there's application of taking the book and not just a casual read per chapter, but to do it in such a way where you're going to be able to discuss it with others. There are ahas and points being made that may be very new to folks and very much in need of processing. I would even use a journal, answer the questions for yourself, or use the questions as a launching pad for discussion with someone else.